All right, we are going to make a 2-inch grid for our paint mixing grid, and this is how you will make 40 different colors using your mixing skills. But first we're going to determine how many inches per measurement you're going to make. So we're going to make a mark at every 2 inches. Now you always need to make sure the edge of your paper is lined up with 0, and then you'll make a mark at 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 until you can't anymore. So what you're going to do is line up the 0 with the edge of the paper, hold it down. We're about a couple inches from the top edge. This is the 12 by 18 paper. This is the 18-inch top side. And I'm going to make it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now, I have not made the rest of the marks, but I will. So I'm going to slide it over to the right and make sure my 0 lines up with one of my marks and my 2-inch and continue until I can't. So 2 more marks after that. Then I'm going to slide my ruler down towards the bottom of the paper, because every straight line you make, you have to have 2 measurements at least. So I line the 0 up with the left side of my paper and mark at every 2 inches. And I'm going to slide it over, line up one of my measurements with the 0 and then also the 2, so I make sure it's the correct measurements, and finish those last marks. Now I'm going to flip my ruler perpendicular to the marks that I just made. Make sure that 2 marks are touching the edge of my ruler. Now, this little bump in my ruler is not going to make a big deal, but you want to make the line, making sure both marks, 2 marks, are touching the edge of your ruler. And I want to make sure that my mark is from top to bottom of the paper. So now I'm going to do the same thing, making sure each of my marks are touching and my line goes through those 2 measurements. I am standing when I make measurements and while I make straight lines. It's easier, you have a better view. Notice how I'm holding my ruler with my non-dominant hand, making sure that it doesn't move. I'm holding my pencil towards the end by the eraser, so I'm not making too heavy of a mark or adding extra pressure to the ruler so it moves. You want to make sure your ruler does not move. All right, so now I have all of my exact 2-inch lines, and now I have to complete this the other way. Move this up here. So now, because my ruler is much shorter than the paper is long, I'm going to make 3 measurements. So I start the 0 at the left side of my paper and do the same thing every 2 inches. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 is all I will go because it's 12 inches long. Slide it down to approximately the middle, same thing, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And one more time, and you'll see why in a moment. Oops, I'm off the camera. There we go. So now the same thing. Line my ruler up with the 0 on the left side of the paper. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So now I have 3 measurements, and I'm going to line up my ruler, start at the top, making sure at least 2 of the marks touch the edge of the ruler, and I'm going to stop where the ruler ends. Slide my paper up, Line up the second set of marks, continuing that straight line, and keep going and doing the same thing. Making sure that my ruler is touching two measurements that I made. That's why you needed 3, because this paper is 18 inches long and you only have a 12-inch ruler. So I'm going to do the same thing here until I have lots of equal squares. Making sure that all of my measurements are touching the edge of my ruler to make sure that I'm making a straight line from top to bottom. All right, so now you have an exact 2-inch grid, and now you're going to properly label it. Your name and your block number go here, name, block. Make sure you put first and last name, and then in the directions it says on the top row, measure 1 through 8 from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And letter from starting at A, top to bottom. A, B, C, D, E. Now for each one is going to be labeled that combination. So this is A1, A2, A3. If you want to write them in, you can. If not, you'll just get your paint color mixing sheet, and you will write each combination. You have to have different ones in each. So, and then you will write the combination on your mixing sheet. Good luck.